is so great to see you again, and I am so excited that you could join me again tonight for another cozy evening, opening up some Pokémon trading cards. For tonight's special opening, we will be unboxing this brand new Mega Evolution Pitch Black Elite Trainer Box, the Pokémon Center Edition. Yay! This is the latest expansion of the Pokémon TCG, and it features around a bunch of very fun and spooky ghost type Pokémon, as well as a bunch of really unique playable additions. So I cannot wait to share some of the new gameplay with you. I did manage to get to one build and battle pre-release for this set. It was a ton of fun, and I cannot wait to go over the details with you because there's some really interesting new playstyles in this set that I really want to try out. As you can see, it features the lovely Mega Darkrai, and it has a very almost low contrast and monochromatic feel to this box, which gives it a very eerie feeling. Very fun. There are some really gorgeous new cards as well, and hopefully we can find some of them tonight. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. All of the ETBs come with an extremely handy player's guide that gives you a lot more details about the cards you can expect to find in the set, as well as some strategies for gameplay. Let's take a quick peek. On this first page here, you can see some of the gorgeous new SIRs that you could potentially get, and specifically this Mega Darkrai I really want because it's by one of my favorite artists that I collect, Akira Ikawa. The style is just so unique and beautiful, and I love it, and I really hope we find him. He's probably also going to be the most expensive card in this set, unfortunately. So I am hopeful that I can actually pull him instead of having to buy or trade him as a single. There are a lot of new fun ghost type Pokemon in this set that I'm very excited about. This was actually the deck that I got for the build and battle, and it was a ton of fun to play. So I really want to try it as a full standard deck. Of course, there's always a bunch of new interesting combinations to play. And at the end of the guide, it always includes a visual card list of every single Pokemon that you can pull in the packs. It's extremely handy for helping you organize your binders and collection and keeping track of all the cards, because you can see that it has the checkboxes here for both the regular and reverse holo. So if you're trying the master set like I like to do, then it's very handy to keep track. At and just illustration rares. Special is if it's a EX, which they actually have a decent amount of in this set. Oh, there's so many fun ones. Oh, that's a really cool ultra rare, actually. I would love to get that. I did actually pull 2 beautiful full arts already from my build and battle. One was in the actual build and battle pack, and the other was from my prize packs. So I will share those later on as well. Of course, there's always a golden variation, and I've never pulled a golden. I would love to, but so far have not managed to get any. That is amazing too. I want that more Peko. He reminds me of Agresco, the show. Oh, that's hilarious. The ETBs always come with a special promo card, and since this is a Pokemon Center specific ETB, we also receive an extra copy with the Pokemon Center stamp right there. Beautiful. Let's get him sleeved up and take a closer look. As you can see, we received 2 copies of the special promo card featuring Zarude. Let's take a closer look. I feel like he's a little bit harder to make out on camera because it's so much darker coloration, but it's actually a beautiful illustration rare. We see the Zarude here standing in front of a kind of shadowed tree branch with a dark crimson sky behind him. I really like the way the sky shimmers behind him. And it also mirrors the coloring of his eyes, which makes it feel very intense. Oh, I love this. Also included in that pack where the promos came in are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dividers to use to help organize your cards. I usually store mine in a bulk bin. I do 1 of each for my master set in the binders, and then any bulk goes into my organized bulk bin boxes. So these are extremely handy in helping you keep everything organized, especially for deck building and keeping track of all the cards. I actually really love these. It's very difficult, I think, to make out on camera because you kind of have to shine the light on it in the right way, but we have the Mega Darkrai, and it has this like beautiful kind of dark gray shimmer to it. That's so fun. On the back, we have the Pokeball in that same silvery shimmer. Very cool. Also included are these beautiful matching sleeves. For decorating your deck. I actually really love using these particular ones for the built-in battle pre-releases. For actual like game nights, they are a little bit less useful because they're very slippery, and I actually prefer the Dragon Shield sleeves for official play because they have a nice kind of like bumpy back, so it makes shuffling very, very easy. But I really love the designs of these. Very fun. They also include a fun pack of dice and a new coin to use for gameplay. Let's take a quick peek at these. This is a fun coin. It has a very cool, like, kind of wavy, almost psychedelic pattern to the receive a fresh set of damage counters and a large regular dice for rolling heads and tails in case you don't want to flip coins. It's a little hard to make out, but there actually is a very subtle silvery shimmer pattern to this large dice, which is pretty cool. And it's interesting actually that it's not translucent, because a lot of the ones recently have been. Very pretty. The damage counters themselves are the usual kind of black and slate style that they've been doing for all the sets recently. And last but certainly not least, they include a massive stack of energy cards to help you build out your decks. Always handy to have extra energies. Although at this point I feel like I could fill up a whole bulk bin of energies. That's okay. I need to find some more fun uses for them. I was thinking of maybe like making some jewelry out of them if I cut the card out and maybe do some like resin or something. Let me know in the comments if you guys have done anything creative with your extra cards. And we receive a whopping 11 packs of pitch black to open and enjoy together. Yeah. If this was a normal non-Pokémon Center ETB, then we would have only received 9 packs. But this is not a normal one, so we get the 2 bonus packs. Awesome. Let's get pulling. Let's kick off the evening with this pack featuring the Mega Chandler, whose full art is beautiful too, and I really hope that we can come across it. Did any of you get to do any built-in battles as well? If you did, let me know in the comments which decks you preferred. Also, new to the set, I've noticed they have done multiple designs for the back of the live cards, which I love. We have our Mega Lucario and a code just for you. Always have to do our energy trick to the front. And we begin this evening with a fighting energy. is the evolved form of the antique armor fossil, which is an item card that is in this set as well. So you actually cannot play him as a basic. I love that he is kind of poking his paws into this little puddle on the floor. That's very cute. He looks so innocent. We have our first water type of the evening, the Brione, who is the evolved form of a Poplio. See him right there. The Brione is seen here relaxing in a little stream. Looks like she's sitting on a giant rock, and it looks like just a very calm and peaceful afternoon. We have a Vigavolt up next. Electric Vigavolt. This was featured in the Electric Moridon deck. And he was definitely the big hitter because of his Giga Railgun attack right here. The way it works is, as long as he has a Volcanic Energy, which is the new special lightning energy they released in this particular set, attached to him, then his Giga Railgun attack will do 260 damage for only 2 energy, which is insane for a build in battle especially. But you have to have that energy attached or else it will do nothing. We have a new supporter card up next, Gladian's Final Battle. You can see Gladian standing here in like a very kind of mossy covered canyon actually. There's a lot of giant boulders behind, and it's actually a very cool looking area. This card reads, you can only use it when it is the last card in your hand, and during your turn, attacks used by your Pokemon that do not have a Roblox will do 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's very cool. This would have been very useful in the Slowpoke deck. We have a lovely Toucanon. Our toucan Pokemon. He is seen here soaring through a lush tropical forest. There's some beautiful purple flowers and a little waterfall off in the distance. Very pretty. Oh, for our first reverse holo of the night, we have a new Yukamori card, the Mankey. I love Yukamori cards. She always designs them, actually like physically out of, I want to say like a Sculpey or some type of clay, and photographs them in realistic environments, and they're always so interesting. She's a very fun artist to collect as well. For our next reverse holo, we have that antique armored fossil that I mentioned earlier. What's difficult about that particular deck, though, is you cannot play these fossil cards during your setup turn. So you need to make sure you have enough basics in your deck to not be mulliganing a bajillion times and just giving your opponent free cards. It's fun. I actually have a roleplay coming up that I need to film. It's the 3rd episode of my Journey Red series, and it will take place at the Pewter City Fossil Museum. So this just reminded me of it because I share that with you guys. I had a ton of fun making them. It kind of looks like the dome fossil one that I made. For our rare card of this pack, we have a Silvally. Silvally is the evolved form of type Null, which is such a silly name for a Pokemon. That's like almost an error. But he is a synthetic Pokemon, so it kind of makes sense. The Silvally features an ability called Call a Buddy, where once during your turn, if you have no cards in your hand, then you may use the ability to search your deck for a supporter card to add, which is actually super handy because you could, especially in the Slowpoke deck that I keep mentioning, the way that deck works is his attack does a lot more damage if your hand is empty. So if you have the Silvally on your bench in combination with that, you can empty out your hand, or be able to pull a supporter to help fill up your hand again, or keep it empty. Very cool. That's the only deck that I have not gotten to try playing yet. I've been doing some of the build-in battles in live to test out the other decks, since I only got the 2-1 build-in battle night. And I've really been enjoying them all. They're all just very unique playstyles. And I appreciate that. I like the decks where you kind of have to create fun strategies for them. Well, that was a fun first pack. Let's see who else we can find in this Mega Excadrill pack. So it's funny because on video I always open the box with the scissors because it's much cleaner and quicker, but in real life I do the kind of pull and rips, but it's a lot more graceful using the scissors. Your next QR code of the night. Energy to the front, and we begin our second pack with a refreshing water energy. Water. To go with that Mankey that we found earlier, we have its evolved form, the Primeape. This Primeape is seen practicing some punches throughout town, and looks like he's kind of just broken through a big rock barricade. You have some big buildings in the background as well. Fun. We have a Drumbeak up next. Who is the evolved form of a Pikabek. stadium card that is super, super handy for fossil decks. And I'm very excited about this because there's some decks that I really like the playstyle of, but due to the nature of having to have the fossils out before you can evolve them, it makes it a little bit slower playstyle, and usually you get destroyed by some of the kind of main decks right now that are really fast, high-hitting decks. Anyways, the card is the Fossil Quarry, and it reads, once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for up to 2 item cards that have the antique in their name and put them onto their bench. All the fossils have the antique in their name, so it really helps you build out those decks quick. We have a classic Pokemon up next, the Seeking, by another one of my favorite artists, Okubo. Okubo always has very interesting, repetitive illustration, geometric patterns to all his work. And you can kind of see that a little bit with the way he did the seaweed. It's fun, I like that. Oh. For our first reverse hollow, we have Zarude. This particular Zarude is kind of like swinging on a vine throughout what looks like a desolate, abandoned city. That's very cool. He's looking very energetic though, and like he's almost about to swipe attack someone. Very fun. For our next reverse hollow, we have another new special energy type, the Shadowy Energy. This is specific to dark type Pokemon and reads, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides dark energy, and as long as the dark Pokemon it's attached to is on your bench, it prevents all damage done to it by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Ooh, that's very handy. Especially with a lot of the meta decks right now, like for instance Mega Starmie or Greninja, a lot of them focus on doing damage to the bench as well, so you're taking out multiple Pokemon at once. Interesting. I wonder if, because technically those are damage counters though. So I wonder if it prevents damage counters or if it's only damage, because that does make a difference. I think it might be only damage. And for our rare of this pack, we have a Koraidon. The Paradox Pokemon. He looks like he was riding around as a motorcycle form, and it just finished standing up in the grass, like he noticed something off right here and is about to attack them. Very cool. Nice and sleeved up. I feel like I prefer Miraidon, but I picked Violet when I played Scarlet and Violet, so I might be partial because of that. Also, I just like purple. Moving on to pack number 1, 2, 3. Pack number 3. Another one featuring the Mega Chandelure. first. We have a lovely bronzer, which I believe this is actually a portion of a connecting card series. Trying to remember, it's the illustrator is Saboteri. Totally blanking out on the name of the Pokemon in the last set. The Delibird. Yeah, I want to say the Delibird is kind of like right over here. And there's a bunch of other connecting ones for this set. I love it when the illustrators do that. We have a cute little charger bug up next. Our little battery bug. He is the evolved form of the Grubbin that we saw earlier, and is seen here kind of hiding in what looks like either a room or a cave. It's a little hard to tell, but there's kind of like a beam of light shining on him from behind. We have another water type Pokemon up next, the Finizen. Our little dolphin buddy, who is swimming in some very eerie green water. I'm not sure why the water is so like neon green. It's almost like it got like infected by acid or like some ghostly possession. Maybe there's like a Delmise somewhere around there, which would be fitting for this set. Here's that type null that I mentioned earlier. Type null. He is standing here at the base of a giant canyon, and there's a bunch of rocky cliffs around him. Almost looks like there's a nice sunrise happening off in the distance as well. Very nice. Oh, this is a cool one. This is the Slowbro. Slowbro is a classic and is the evolved form of Slowpoke. You can see him here featuring his giant like oyster tail, or I think technically, oh, he's a hermit crab, which is interesting. But I love the way the illustrator did this. The water that he is standing in is almost like psychedelically swirling and has a very, very cool feel to it, which is very fitting for the Slowbro because he's a psychic type Pokemon. Oh, this is the one deck that I did not get to play, and as you can see, his all-out attack only costs 1 psychic energy. It normally does 50 damage, but if you have no cards in your hand, then it will do an additional 160 for a whopping 210 total. That's very cool. Although extremely difficult to set up. I would argue that was the hardest of all the build-in battles. We have a new supporter card that I'm excited about. Misty's Vitality. Misty. You can see Misty here stepping out of a nice indoor pool, probably at her gym. And she allows you to search your deck for up to 4 basic water energy cards to attach to one of your Pokemon. And then you get to shuffle your deck after. This is extremely handy for a lot of water decks actually, because I've noticed a lot of the water type Pokemons that are like really heavy hitters require a lot of energy attached. So it's very difficult to set up in a fast-paced game. So she lets you really speed up that process. We got our first hide and sneak card of the night, the Bonnet. Oh, such an interesting designed card here too. We have that like eerie green glow that we saw in the super handy. Damage is not considered an effect, but everything else, so like damage counters are, I believe. But the way this playstyle works is each of them do different amounts of damage or effects based on how many hide and sneak Pokemon you have in your discard pile. So you want to basically balance out how many you are playing with and trying to discard as many as possible, which I'll go over in case we find the Spirit Doom. This particular one has a Puppet Pull attack that does 80 damage, and it lets you search your deck for any card to add to your hand. So it's kind of like that Crobat card from Chaos Rising, but instead of putting it on the top of your deck, you actually get to just take it right away, which is super, super handy. For our first reverse holo, we have the evolved form of the venison, the Palafin. He's looking like very heroic. The way he's just kind of like standing almost in the water. It makes him look even like taller than this gigantic tidal wave that's coming up behind him. And I just really love how they kind of did these like kind of god rays around him. It's like a lens flare effect. Just adds to that like heroism feel. Love that. Cool. We have a reverse holo of the Slowbro. The Slowbro also features a Zen headbutt attack for 110 damage, but it does require 3 energy to use. And I feel like, at least the way that it was set up for the build and battle, it was set up to not have to use too many energies. So, without like the ignition energy, will be tough. We have our first mega card of the evening. Yeah. And it's featuring the Mega Excadrill EX. Fun. I love the coloring actually that they chose for this one with the red and the kind of yellowish green. It's very fitting for the metal Excadrill. The Mega Excadrill is the evolved form of Drillbur, and he features 2 attacks, Undermine and Maximum Drilling. Undermine does 90 damage and lets you discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck, which is pretty fun. Maximum Drilling does 200 damage, and if he has an additional 2 energy attached to him, in addition to the 3 metal that are required to use the attack, then it will do an additional 130 damage. Whoa, for 330 total. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, if you kind of utilize, forget which card it is that lets you pull 2 metal energies from your discard and attach them to a Pokemon, have a third one that turn, and then the next turn you can do an ignition energy. Just like pretty much knock out most Pokemon. That's really fun. That definitely would be at least a 2-turn setup to do. On my last pack of sleeves, I need to order some more. I know technically like a lot of people don't sleeve up their reverse holos, but I like to keep them nice and shiny. Alright, now we're getting some fun cards. Let's see who is in pack number 4. discard up to 2 basic metal energy cards from your hand to do an additional 40 damage for each that you discarded in that way. So you have to really have a good high turnaround of metal energy cards and ways to recycle it back to really be useful. Next up, we have an adorable Poplio, who is splashing his way on the shore of a beach. So cute. Little sea lion Pokemon. Oh. We have another fossil, the antique skull fossil. This one's actually kind of interesting because it's burrowed kind of in this tree root almost, as if the tree kind of grew around it. I like that. He evolves into the Granados, which we have not seen yet. Next up, we have a drill bird. The drill bird is looking very excited to see you as he rushes forward with all this nice little energy swirls around him. Looks like he's had a little too much caffeine. We have the Dilemmas, our ghostly anger Pokemon. This was the deck that I got for my Build-A-Battle, and he features a very powerful attack, the Vengeful Anchor. On its own, it only does 30 damage, but if you have 4 or more Pokemon that have the Hide and Sneak ability in your discard pile, then it will do an additional 140 damage. So 170 damage on a basic Pokemon for 1 psychic energy is crazy, and was very fun to play. Also, a new supporter that was very handy in that particular deck is Gwen. She is seen here in the sewers that we had found her in the game, and I love her chandelier hat. That is adorable. I kind of want one. She is actually a very handy card because you can discard up to 2 Pokemon that do not have a rule box from your hand and draw 3 cards for each card that you discarded. So you could potentially pull 6 cards, which works very, very well in the hide and seek style play where you are trying to discard as many Pokemon as possible. I'm excited to see how she plays in a lot of decks. We have another Slowbro. An attached shelter won't let go because of the tasty flavor that oozes out of the Slowbro's tail. Oh, I never knew that's why he was biting him. That makes a lot of sense. I guess that goes with the lore too. In the original Red and Blue, I remember there was that kind of sketchy salesperson you came across that was selling Slowpoke tails. We have a reverse holo of type Null. It was modeled after a mighty Pokemon of myth, the mask placed upon its limits as power in order to keep it under control. We have a reverse holo of the Togenon, who actually features a very handy ability, the Aerial Draw. draw lets you draw once per turn. Actually, no, it's draw a card. Never mind, it's not like the Pidgeot. Pidgeot let you search for any card, which was crazy. This one just lets you draw an actual additional card once per turn. I swear I can talk. Still handy though. Oh, nope, just regular. Saw the bottom and it looked kind of like a full art, but it was not. But it is a lovely GU. That's very interesting how they designed this. I love that because her fins are kind of like overshadowed in some parts, and it gives it a really like interesting and intricate effect. It's beautiful. This is illustrator Akita Saki. I love that. Very nice and secure. Alright, Tukana. And I just realized I forgot to put our Mega Pokemon back up there. Alright, little hit zone. Alright, moving onwards. I want to say this is pack number 5, which I do definitely feel like we're a little bit light on hits so far, so hopefully they're just hiding amongst the remaining packs. Another QR code just for you. We have a metal energy up next. Metal. First up, we have another hide and sneak card, the Shubit. Who is the preformed to the Banette that we found. He just has a simple hang down attack for 10 damage. We have another lovely Mankey. It is extremely quick to anger. It could be docile one moment, then rushing away the next instant. We have another lovely Brione. Brione features a hyper voice attack for 40 damage. She is a singing pop star Pokemon. We have a lovely electric. Zipping his way down and creating a lot of static electricity around him as he does. Very fun. I love the energy behind this card. We have the Sinistcha. I think that's how you pronounce it. These ones are a little hard to pronounce. Who is the evolved form of Poltergeist. This is another lovely hide and sneak Pokemon that has a really, really cool tag. Matcha Spin. The attack lets you, if you have 6 or more Pokemon that have the hide and sneak in your discard pile, then you can place 4 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. Which, by the way, if you are playing any of the build-in battles in live against the Bastion deck, this this is how you get around the Bastion's ability. It's a very fun card, and I really want to try to play it in a regular deck. Man, I think the universe is telling me that I need to build a Slowbro deck because he is our 4th Slowbro of the night. We have a lovely Malamar up next. She is seen here, kind of hover walking through the kind of same almost ruined city. It almost looks like a metallic radio tower that is overgrown with moss now. Interesting. For our first reverse hollow, we have an Annihilate. The Annihilate features an ability called Durable Body, which lets it, if he gets knocked out from damage from an attack, you can flip a coin, and if you get heads, he is instead not knocked out and returns with 10 HP remaining. Always handy. We have a Voltaic Energy for our next reverse hollow. This is the new special lightning or electric energy that I had mentioned earlier. The way it works is if you have it attached to an electric Pokemon, then all of their attacks do an additional 20 damage. Always handy. And we have another lovely GU for our rare. I feel like the patching in this ETB is actually not as good as some previous ones. I noticed that too with my friend who had opened one of his ETBs that he got at Target the other day. He got a lot of multiples of the same hits. Let me know if you guys had the same experience. GU features a Whirling Envy attack that does 20 damage, and if he has 2 or more damage counters on it, it will do an additional 90 damage. Ooh, that's fun. Would work well with the Risky Ruins Stadium. So when you play him down, he automatically will get the 2 damage. So to be a fun combination. We have our Voltaic Energy. And Annihilate. Feisty Annihilate. I smash down through his destination. We have a Vullaby. I love that the Vullaby has the gust attack because his wings are so tiny. I don't know how he could spin fast enough to make a strong enough gust to do 20 damage. We have our first lit lick of the night. Our cute little candle buddy who is seen here happily hanging out with some regular spooky candles. He looks so happy. Oh, we have a beautiful Goldeen. The Goldeen is seen here under, kind of like poking out of a pond. I actually really love how they did this. The reflections of the lily pad and like kind of the trees above almost blend together. It's very interesting. And speaking of Goldeen, as I mentioned earlier, I pulled some fun full arts in my build and battle, and Goldeen was one of them. It's so pretty. Like, I don't know if the camera does this card justice. There's just so many beautiful details. I just love even just the coloring that they chose for this like nice teal, cyan, blue, and the Goldeens just look so majestic. It's beautiful. I'll have her hang out in my hip zone to make it look a little more full. The regular Goldeen card is beautiful too. We have a new supporter card, the Rust Syndicate Grunt. They're the grunts that are always standing outside of the main Rust Syndicate building in the game. They're actually kind of handy though, because if your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, then you can discard one energy from your opponent's Pokemon, and you can choose out of any of their Pokemon. So that can be very, very handy. We have another lovely Dukanon. Pairs of Dukanon are considered symbols of companionship, as these Pokemon will raise the temperature of their beaks to warm each other. Oh, that's nice of them. We have another electric Vikavolt. In addition to its Giga Railgun attack, the Vikavolt does also include a quick dive attack that lets you do 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, which is super handy because you can choose any benched ones as well. It's always nice to have some bench sniping. For our first reverse hollow, we have a Shieldon. The Shieldon actually feature a very, very handy attack. Smithereen Smash. That does 50 damage, and it lets you discard one energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, and you get to choose which one. So if they have a special energy, you can decide to discard that as well. But the reason this is super handy is it works extremely well in combination with his evolved form, whose ability makes it so if he's on the bench, then your opponent cannot attack any of your Pokemon unless they have at least 3 energy attached. So being able to force them to keep discarding while you have the main guy on the bench is very powerful. evolution Pokemon, it will do an additional 30. Not bad for 1 energy. The Giga Impact does 190, but you have to discard all the energy from the Koraidon, so not as useful. And okay, my instincts weren't fully wrong. We have a Mega Chandelier with very bad centering. Look at that. It's like it goes big to small. That's funny. But that's okay, because he's a playable card. It's fun. The Mega Chandelier is the evolved form of Lampant, and he features an ability called Binding Flame, which makes your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost be 1 more energy. His main attack is the Phantom Maze, which does 130 damage, and it does an additional 50 more for each energy cost of your opponent's active retreat cost. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I kind of want to try him as well. Mega Chandelier. Go. Hang out in the hit zone. Lovely Koraidon. I feel them. He's so cute. Alright. We are on to lucky number 7. Pack number 7. I forgot to double check how many cards are actually in this set, but I feel like it's very similar to the last two, where there are not too many additional new cards. To start us off, we have another refreshing water energy. Splish, splish, splash. And to go with that Mega Chandelier we just found, we have its basic form, the Litwick. Litwick shines a light that absorbs the life energy of people and Pokemon, which becomes the fuel that it burns. But he looks so innocent and happy. I love that. We have our first Pick-a-Pack of the night. The Pick-a-Pack is seen here, sitting on a very thin branch. I love that. With just like one lone leaf poking off at the end. That's so funny. You can see the nice little circular hole that the Pick-a-Pack has been pecking into since he is a woodpecker. We actually have some woodpeckers that live on our street. There's like one particular tree that just has a bajillion holes in it. We have another lovely Sizzlebead up next. It stores flammable gas in its body and uses it to generate heat. The yellow sections on its belly get particularly hot. We have our first Mastiff of the night. Our little doggy friend who is trying very hard to look fierce and ferocious, but he use its fists with the power of the rage that it's kept hidden in its heart. Opponents struck by these imbued fists will be shattered to the core. We have a new supporter, Jet. Seen here, hanging out at the entryway of Quasarco. I think that's what it was called. The big corporation building. You can see their little logo right there. She lets you draw a card for each of your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon in play. Interesting. I don't know how useful that actually is though, because like not everyone plays Mega decks, so you're kind of banking on your opponent playing that. So I feel like there's better supporters you could use. Oh, we have our first Marshadow of the night. Oh, she's so cute. Our little toasty marshmallow ghost. The Marshadow is seen here, hiding pretty well actually amongst these very detailed foliage. There's so much line work in this. I love it. Marshadow. We have a Bumbird here for our first reverse holo. She is swooshing down above a rocky shore. Some nice like ocean water kind of right underneath. Very pretty and serene actually, compared to a lot of the ghostly cards in this set. For our next reverse holo, we have a Poplio. The Poplio features a simple pound attack for 20 damage. And for our rare card of this pack, we have another Voltaic Energy. Nice and sticky. Yeah. Our Poplio buddy. I love how like all the water Pokemon in this set are just like so cheery and bright compared to a lot of the dark and spooky ghosts. It's a fun contrast. Well, we have 4 packs remaining. Hopefully we've been saving the best for last. Let's find out. There's another QR code for you. Our energy direct to the front. And we have, I want to say our first psychic energy actually of the night. Psychic energy. Cool. And we have a nice poltergeist to go with it. Even though technically poltergeist is a grass type Pokemon. I do love how all the hide and sneak Pokemon have a very similar like coloration and design to them, even though I think they are different artists. So it's cool how they coordinated that. The Poltergeist is another hide and sneak Pokemon and features a furtive drop attack, which lets you place 1 lone damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. Just be active though. We have another Massive Its well-developed jaw and fangs are strong enough to crunch through boulders, and its thick fat makes for an excellent defense. We have a pick-a-pack. The pick-a-pack features a double stab attack that lets you flip 2 coins, and the attack does 10 damage for each heads. And following the pick-a-pack, we have an electric. The electric actually features a nice attack called Collect, which lets you draw a card, which is always very handy, especially on basic Pokemon early in the game, to really give you a slight advantage. We have another Misty's Vitality. I want to say it's like the Whale Lord decks that require a lot of water energy. And to go with that water energy, we have another Palafin. The Palafin features a Knuckle Justice attack that does 80 damage, and if your opponent has exactly 1 prize kind remaining, it will do an additional 200. Oh, that's really cool. He's a good, like, final hitter. We have another Gladian's Final Battle supporter card. And a Minky. This particular Minky features a classic low kick attack for 20 damage. And for our next reverse holo, we have a Vigavolt. When carrying a Charjabug, Vigavolt can receive electricity from it and then rapidly fire powerful electromagnetic beams from its large jaws. And we have another Zarude for our red. This Zarude features 2 attacks: Overhead Throw and Shadowy Whip. The Overhead Throw does 30 damage, and the attack also does 30 damage to one of their bench Pokemon. One of your bench Pokemon. Oh no, that's not as handy. I mean, I guess there are some that do want to be damaged, so they could play well with it. The Shadowy Whip does 100 damage, and if your bench Pokemon have any shadowy dark energy attached, then it will do an additional 70 more. Interesting. I'm assuming it doesn't stack, so, because that'd be cool if it did stack. You could just attach the shadowy energy to all your bench Pokemon and have it keep doing 70, but I don't know, it doesn't really specify. It doesn't say for each, so I'm guessing no. Our Vigavolt. And a Minky. first whalmer of the night, and I love that the illustrator on this, Asako Ito, looks like they actually crocheted the Pokemon itself and photographed it. That's so fun. I actually love crocheting myself. I mostly do blankets because it's very easy to make things that are square. So I'm always impressed by the people who can do the kind of animal, like stuffed animal design crochets. We have another lovely Grubbin up next. He features the classic string shot attack that does 10 damage, but unlike the games, you get to flip a coin, and if it's heads, then your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. We have our first Mandibuzz of the night. Mandibuzz. She's the evolved form of the little wallaby that we found earlier. She features 2 attacks, Bone Sniper and Blasting Wind. The Bone Sniper does 70 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has a special energy attached. But that's pretty solid actually for 1 dark energy. And the Blasting Wind does 120, which is not too shabby. We have another Gwen. And we have another lovely Seeking. The Seeking features a Hydro Jet attack that does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each water energy attached. Oh, that could be fun in combination with the Misty's card. You just keep piling up water energy onto the Seeking and then be able to snipe for a ridiculous amount of damage. That's fun. Ooh, we have a new item card, the Dark Bell. Ring, 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 ring. The Dark Bell makes it so both active non-dark Pokemon are now confused. Be interesting to try and build a confusion deck, because there was that like Dizzying Valley Stadium they released, I want to say, in the last set, that made it so like confused Pokemon stay confused when they evolve. Ooh. We have our first Relicanth of the night as a reverse hollow. The Relicanth is a variation on a real fish actually called the Coelacanth. It was this fish that they believed to be extinct for many years, and then someone found them like deep in the ocean one day when they were like deep sea fishing or something, and it really is that ugly. We finally got a full art, you guys. Oh, it's so pretty. We got the illustration rare of Fomantis. Oh, such a beautiful card. You can see her just poking up out of this beautiful field of flowers. There's so much detail in this. I love these like bright pink flowers here and the yellows, and I really love how it fades off, kind of like almost goes out of focus in the distance, so it has a very like photographic feel to it. Oh, it's so colorful in comparison to like all the other dark cards in this set. It's just such a nice, bright, happy card. Oh, I'm so happy about this, you guys. Amantis. And oh, here's the Spirit Tomb card that I had mentioned earlier as well. The Spirit Tomb fits in with the Hide and Sneak deck, and it's very difficult to set up, but if you have 13 or more Pokemon that have the Hide and Sneak ability in your discard pile, then you get to choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon Sizzlepede up first. The Sizzlepede features 2 attacks, Controlled Burn and Bug Out. The Controlled Burn lets you discard the top card of your opponent's deck, and the Bug Out does, well, you have to reveal the bottom 7 cards of your own deck, and the attack does 50 damage for each Pokemon you find there that has the Bug Out attack. Then shuffle any revealed Pokemon back into your deck. Interesting. I suppose if you pulled a bunch of Sizzlepedes into your hand and then Lily Determination, no, don't think that would actually force it to the bottom like Yono did. I'm sure there is a way of creating it though that you get them onto the bottom of your deck. It's a little bit difficult to set up though. We have our first Jinx of the night. Jinx. One of the classics, and one of the very first humanoid shaped Pokemon. This particular Jinx is singing a lovely song amongst a nice field of tulips. There's some blooming red, yellow, and pink tulips, and some little petals fluttering around her. We have another beautiful Wilmer. As you can see, his attacks have a lot of high energy requirement, so the Misty's card would definitely be necessary if you want to play a Wilmer deck. We have another Mandibuzz. Watching from the sky, they attack weakened prey on the ground. They have a habit of decorating themselves with bones. Well, that's very dark. As you can see one kind of in its hair plume up there. There's kind of a creepy looking castle over there too. We have another Delmise. After a piece of seaweed merged with debris from a sunken ship, it was reborn as this ghost Pokemon. We have our first Weevil of the evening. Weevil, who is the evolved form of Nickit, which I actually don't know if we've seen a Nickit yet either. This particular Weevil is frolicking through a nice little field of violet flowers, and almost looks like he has like a little worm or snake that he's catching in his mouth. He features an interesting attack called Skill Thief, where if you have no cards in your hand, then you get to choose an attack from one of your opponent's Pokemon in play and use it as its attack. So that would pair very well with the Slowpoke deck. We have our first Lampent of the night. against Mega Evolution Pokemon, even if it's knocked out. Then you get to place 12 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Interesting. That's a lot of ifs though. So again, like, I don't know how useful that truly is. Because against certain deck matchups, it's just completely useless in your deck. And we have another shadowy energy for our rare. Beginning a lot of the special energies tonight. Tremendous Bomb. Although I feel like against a Mega Pokemon, it actually needs to do more than 120 damage. Because most of the Mega Pokemon have a very high HP value. Well, friends, we are down to our final pack of the night. Hopefully we get some nice last pack luck this evening, and even if not, I've had a ton of fun opening up these cards with you. So thank you so much if you've made it this far, and let's see what we find. We have a Mega Lucario guarding our last pack. Energy Trick to the front, and Debbie's for last pack luck. Alright, we end the evening with a red hot fire energy. First up, we have a lovely Jinx. The Jinx features 2 attacks, an Intense Kiss and Cybolt. The Intense Kiss is actually very interesting because it reads, at the end of your opponent's next turn, you have to discard the defending Pokemon and all attached cards, which is pretty cool. I think when you discard a Pokemon in this way, it does not count as a KO, so you do not get to take a prize, but that can be very, very handy in taking out a difficult opponent, especially in build and battle if your opponent happened to have pulled a Mega Pokemon. The Cybolt attack does 50 damage and a chance to paralyze on a coin flip. We have another cute Drillbur. By spinning its body, it can dig straight through the ground at a speed of 30 miles an hour. That's pretty fast for our little mole friend. Oh. We have our first Charcadet of the night. This Charcadet looks like he has been practicing some punches and or his best punch, that's funny, in the city. Like, that his attack is called that. It does 40 damage, but if you flip a coin and you get tails, then it does nothing. So, he's doing his best. That's all we can ask for. We have a Bombard here up next. The Bombardier actually features an interesting attack called Challenging Delivery. You flip 2 coins, and if both of them are heads, then you get to search your deck for a Pokemon to put onto your bench, which is very cool because it can be any Pokemon, so you could be like stage 2 on the bench. And the coin flip could be paired well with a new tool that we actually did not pull this evening. It's a new tool that allows you to takes 100 less damage from attacks if it's an evolution Pokemon. We have another Relicanth. The Relicanth features an attack called Fossil Beatdown that does a base of 10 damage, but it does an additional 30 for each of your benched Pokemon that have Antique in its name. That's a good starter for if you have to build up some fossil Pokemon. You can throw him out as a basic to kind of hold the tide over until you've evolved them. For our first reverse hollow, we have the Spirit Tomb. I love the art on this. Actually, it really stands out even more with the reverse hollow. Just like the way they have this really eerie green energy glow around him. He's looking very menacing. For our next reverse hollow, we have a Sinistra, our hunted matcha Pokemon. It prefers cool, dark places, such as the back of a shelf or the space between a home's floorboards. It wanders in search of prey after sunset. And for our final card of the night, we have an Armarouge. The Armarouge is the evolved form of the Charcadet that we just found. He features a Flame Legion attack that does 40 damage and an additional 40 more for each of your benched Pokemon that have fire energy attached. Interesting. A little bit difficult to set up, but could be a very interesting playstyle. I think I prefer this hide and sneak style. I love this Spiritomb. And I forgot to bring up earlier as well the second full art that I pulled during my build and battle. I believe this was the one I actually got in my prize packs. Fittingly for tonight's opening, it was the Slowbro. This is a fun one because it looks like the Slowbro was just entranced by this lantern that's above him. I love it. It's so fun. He's so dorky and I love it. Well, friends, that is it for tonight's opening. I am definitely feeling like this ETB was a little bit light on hits because these two I actually got for my build and battle. So for 11 packs, this is actually pretty light. Actually, this is what we got tonight. These were my build and battles. So I'm still very, very happy about this Pimentos card. But hopefully we will have a little bit better luck with my booster box. And I did actually get 2 ETBs, but I think I'll be opening that one off camera. So maybe that one will be a little bit more packed than this one. And if you have made it this far, thank you so much again for spending the time with me this evening. I hope you had fun and learned a little bit about the current state of the game and got some much needed relaxation.